varieties that have become hidden from the eyes of the world. Thus, if mankind grasps this principle that it needs to develop a loving relationship with God, and if you understand that God is He who loves His creation, then man will naturally develop love for others without concern for his own vested interests. Then another extremely wise exhortation made by him is that by manifesting the truth, religious wars will come to an end. Indeed, not only will religious wars come to an end, but in fact, the foundation for peace and reconciliation will be laid. Although in the world we find that there are some efforts made towards peace and reconciliation, yet certain grievances continue to simmer. As a result, the grievances that are removed or the peace that is established is not based on honesty. The real foundation of peace is honesty, which emanates from the heart. Although we observe that in today's world, religious wars do not really occur, yet vindictiveness and ill will are meted out against each other. As I mentioned earlier, one unfortunate consequence of this weaponless war is transpiring in some countries where certain completely harmless religious practices and traditions of Muslims are being restricted or prohibited. It is then claimed that these measures have no connection to religion but are necessary restrictions to assist Muslims to integrate into the local society. Anyway, this is a lengthy debate which I do not wish to enter at this time. However, in response to these measures, some Muslims indulge in activities that are completely against the teachings of Islam. So, on both sides, honesty is not being displayed. Mutual love is developed through exhibiting honesty. And honesty entails that there is no difference between what is in your heart and the way you act to the outside world. A person should not give a false account of himself. Such high standards of truth are not usually found at either a national or international level. For example, observe how in certain countries of the world today there is domestic political turmoil. The people have stood up against their government leaders and rulers. We find examples of this in certain Arab, Gulf and North African, even African, West African countries, where we see internal discord and strife. This could be a threat to international peace and security, and that is why the wider world is very concerned. International organizations are putting pressure on governments to fulfill the rights of the public and to stop the rulers from oppressing their people in order to sustain human values. But a real expression of integrity requires that if you wish to help the people of a country in order to save them from the oppression of their rulers, and you wish to save the world from major disorder, then it is necessary that public too should be advised that they should not partake in violent disorder or proceed with acts that will damage the nation's economy. Once peace is established, then it should be maintained by following this principle. However, true virtue and honesty is not shown. This is why there may be two different countries facing exactly the same circumstances. But in one instance, the international community supports the government, and in the other instance, they are firing missiles on the government forces on the pretext of liberating the people. A few days ago, a BBC journalist interviewed a White House representative about the current state of affairs in the world. The journalist posed the question that he could not understand why the US was taking such a different approach to Libya in comparison to Bahrain, Yemen, and other countries. The spokesperson had no clear or proper answer to this question. Now, both you and I are well aware of the fact that vested interests are given preference to honesty and justice, time and time again. The powerful countries of the world desire to maintain easy access to the wealth and resources of certain countries and wish to avoid competing countries from having complete access to these same resources. That is why decisions are made on the pretext of helping the people or on the pretext of establishing world peace. It may seem as though the two major blocs that existed in the world in the past have broken up. But in reality, they never broke up, but instead became dormant. In the current emerging political and economic landscape of the world, we find that once again these blocs are very clearly shaping up in formation. In reality, a major factor underlying the political circumstances of these countries is the current international economic situation, which is pulling us towards another world war. If truth was really being displayed, then these countries would derive benefit from each other in a just way by forming proper industrial and economic ties based on fair dealing. They should not try to derive illegitimate benefit from the resources of one another, but instead should seek to come together and mutually assist one another. The Holy Quran teaches us about the wealth of other countries or of the others in verse 132 of chapter 20, where it states that, and strain not the eyes after what we have bestowed on some classes of them to enjoy for a short time the splendor of the present world, that we may try them thereby, and the provision of thy Lord is better and more lasting. This commandment is given because restlessness within a country and jealousy and enmity between countries is born mainly as a result of the wealth and resources of each other. Due to this, greed, quarrels break out, which can have grave consequences. One of the biggest causes of the past world wars was such envy. So, in an effort to avoid such acrimony, the commandment is given that those with less resources should not cast their eyes jealously towards the resources of others. And similarly, it is commanded that those with plentiful resources should look after those in need and less well off. Nations have been taught to follow the principle that they should derive benefit from the resources of others in legitimate manner. Anyway, this topic is such that it cannot be covered fully in a limited time. In short, the disorder taking place these days in the world, whether on a national or international scale, is based upon just one factor, and that is a complete lack of justice, which is causing anxiety and restlessness to develop. The question arises that how can the present situation in the world be resolved? I have given the answer to this earlier when quoting the writing of the founder of the Ahmadiyya community, in which he advised us to establish a relationship with God and exhibit the truth. It is with great regret that